Good morning, Los Angeles. Good morning, Ram fans. Indianapolis Colts riding into SoFi here in a few hours, and I have my pregame poll. Some final thoughts on this game between two very good football teams. The Colts 3-0. They have beat the Broncos, the Dolphins, and the Titans. The Rams 2-1. The Rams are 9-3 over their last 12 games that they have played with their starters, excluding that Week 18 game against the Seahawks. All three losses come into those Eagles. Man, it's so painful to say that. But the takeaway here is they are a really good football team and have been playing a really good football for almost a year now. And so two really good teams going to clash here at SoFi. The very efficient Colts, especially on offense, and the very well-balanced and deep LA Rams. So what do we have to say about this game? Final thoughts. Well, first, let's talk about practice squad activations. The Rams not leaning on the practice squad activations nearly as much as they did last year. Once again, no activations. The Colts have activated cornerback Mike Hilton and guard Josh Sills, and that aligns with their injury report pretty closely, as I'll share here. The Rams inactives. These are my guesses, just guesses here. They'll announce the actual inactives around, 11:30. I'm guessing Sean Bennett, DJ Humphries, and Deshaun Johnson are my pretty solid assumptions there. Now, Deshaun was active last week for the first time because Nick Hampton was out, and he's a guy that can stand up and play on the outside there. Call it whatever you want, 5 technique, outside linebacker, edge. And he did do that a little bit last week. But with Hampton, apparently 100%, I think he'll take a seat once again. One of the tight ends, I think, will be inactive. Now, Parkinson and Higbee were both listed as questionable. So maybe that's an argument for playing all 4 of them, or maybe you just sit one of them down. And then I think there will be another offensive lineman in addition to Humphries. I think it would be Limmer or Dedich. With Avila and Dotson still a little bit, I shouldn't say a little banged up, both coming back from injuries. If you think about it, along our front, our offensive line, everybody except Coleman Shelton has had some type of issue. Alaric Jackson, the blood clots. Steve Avila and Kevin Dotson, both ankle issues. Rob Havenstein was held back this week in practice a little bit. So maybe that's an argument for, keeping Dedich and Limmer active. Warren McClendon, I think, could play on the interior if they needed him. And maybe it's time to try that out instead of some of the science experiments we've been playing around with on the interior. But with Dotson and Alaric back, that's a big deal. So I think the inactives will probably be Bennett, Humphries, Deshaun Johnson, one of the tight ends, and another offensive lineman. That would be my guess. And the Colts, well, we know that wide receiver Alec Pierce, cornerback Kenny Moore, and starting left guard Matt Goncalves will both be out, will all be inactive. And then they'll have to declare 4 more inactives because they are promoting for 2 guys from the practice squad. So that's my expectations as far as the inactives for whatever that's worth. Hey, we were really down on Joshua Carty because of what happened at the end of the Eagles game. I'm not sure how much of it was his fault. His kicks might have had a slightly lower trajectory than you would hope. And I think that second kick might have been heading left regardless. But he has been incredible on the kickoffs. And for those of you listening on the podcast, I'm sharing a chart here that a 49er content creator shared. The Rams, second in the league as far as average opponent drive start, and a lot of that has to do with Carty's knuckleballs. Carolina leads the pack, 21-yard line. The Rams, basically the 21.5-yard line. That's what their opponents are starting. And that is a big advantage. So, it's kind of a bummer. All Carty had to do is hit one of those kicks, and he's probably a special teams player of the week. And instead, he's, a lot of people unhappy with his performance. But looking at the kickoffs, man, we got something going on there. So that's good news moving forward. And at the bottom of that list, by the way, and perhaps why they shared this, 49ers dead last. Opponent starting around the 33-yard line. And that may have been part of the reason Jake Moody was let go. I'm not monitoring the 49ers kickoffs and kickoff coverage, but not good up there in Santa Clara. Who's picking who in this game? USA Today, all 6 picking the Rams. NFL.com, all 5 experts picking the Rams. ESPN, 8 out of 11 leaning on the Rams. And Pete Prisco also picking the Rams. Me, I picked the Rams. Obviously, 23-20 was my score prediction. Farbode and Ernesto on our Saturday morning roundtable both picked the Rams. And Ian, the outlier, Ian not feeling it. He's really nervous about our kicking game and thinks that's going to cost us again, I guess. And he rolled with the Colts. Shame on you, Ian. That's all I'm going to say about that. Hey, once again, a reminder, we are partnered up. We have partnered up with MyBookie. You can go to mybookie.website/joinwithRamsUp. Use promo code RamsUp. New users, new accounts, up to $500 in bets, fully covered. And, I've been sharing my predictions. I'm pretty much even so far, but this is just for fun. I've been also sharing the syndicates group think moneyline picks. Now, I was looking at the odds this week. If you're going to jump on MyBookie and take advantage of this, the one I kind of like is the Giants at home +6 over the Chargers. Not a lot of deep thinking on this. I just looked over the spreads and the matchups, and I think the Giants are a defense that can kind of keep the Chargers in check a little bit. And, I always roll with the home team when in doubt. So that's one game that kind of jumped out at me. And by the way, in my picks this week, I picked the Bucks to beat the Eagles and didn't realize Mike Evans is out. So I'm flipping that pick right now. And what does that mean? It means the Bucks will probably find a way to win. But without Mike Evans, Mika Egbuka may have a big day. He's going to have to if they're going to have a chance of beating the Eagles. But yeah, MyBookie, I think this is a really good deal. Help yourself out. Get some free betting down with MyBookie. Just make sure you use that promo code RAMSUP. Help us out a little bit too. So, players to watch, and the first thing I'm going to do is talk about the Rams tight ends. We have talked about, Ian brought it up about, the targets that Rams tight ends, Rams other than Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua are getting. Hey, let me share some stats with you here. Tyler Higbee, 4 catches for 37 yards. Davis Allen, 3 catches for 24 yards, 2 touchdowns. So 2 out of 3. 2 of his 3 catches have been for touchdowns. Colby Parkinson, 2 catches for -6 yards and a fumble. And Terrence Ferguson does not yet have a target. So if the Rams are going to diversify their passing game, you might start with tight end. Now, the problem is Parkinson and Higbee both questionable. So I would think this could be a great opportunity for Davis Allen and Terrence Ferguson. So players to watch are whatever tight end is out there. The Rams got to get their tight ends involved more. And, Tyler Higbee is really good on those screens. Davis Allen seems to be perhaps their best downfield pass catching tight end. Terrence Ferguson is a guy that you would think could do both of those, be efficient in both of those screens and downfield, run down the seam, 15, 20, 25-yard catches. Supposed to be really good with the ball in his hands after the catch as well. So I'm saying players to watch are the Rams tight ends. I'm just not sure who's going to be out there and who's going to, actually be a part of this game plan. But I'm hoping one of them is, or a couple of them are, finally. It would really help out this offense, I think. And speaking of players to watch, I think one player that we cannot overlook when the Colts have the ball is Tyler Warren. Now you compare that to the Rams wide receivers. The Rams wide receivers with 9 catches. They have 9 catches between them for less than, it's like 60 yards or so. Tyler Warren, 14 catches for 193 yards, no touchdowns. So he's a guy that could do some damage. If Nate Landman and Omar Speights are locking down the run game, Tyler Warren could expose them, and Quentin Lake could be busy helping out there as well. But a player to watch. Hopefully he doesn't go off on us, but he's certainly a guy to keep your eye on in this game. Could be a difference maker. And the last player to watch, again, the Rams need to diversify this passing game, and I think Jordan Whittington's got to be a big part of that. Another guy that can be used in so many ways, and they have been just not enough. Let's get him 5 or 6 or 7 touches. Mix it up a little bit. I think the Rams have been mixing up their running game really well, and they could get Jordan Whittington involved in that more. I mean, Puka Nacua has had some carries. Whittington has as well. Let's get Whittington involved in a lot of different ways. He's a guy that's got a lot of potential to impact a game. We know he can block, but he's also a really good ball carrier, really good route runner, very physical. So he is my third player to watch. And I got 4 predictions for you. And the first one is the Rams pass rush doesn't light it up. And by that, I mean, they're not going to rack up a bunch of sacks. The Colts have given up only 2 sacks so far this year. Their offensive line is really good. Daniel Jones is an experienced veteran guy that knows how to elude the pass rush. But that doesn't mean the pass rush is going to be a failure. I'm hoping that they're disciplined, they maintain lane integrity, and keep Daniel Jones clamped down in the pocket. Just don't expect us to continue this, the rate at which we've been piling up sacks over the first 3 games, 4 a game basically on average. I think we'll be fortunate to get to him twice, but that could still be a win. That could still be a win for this Rams defense. My second prediction is I think the Ram defense struggles a little bit. Run defense. I think this is a game where Jonathan Taylor is going to do some damage. He will probably be the most successful running back yet against this Rams defense. And that doesn't necessarily mean, we're going to lose. I just have a lot of respect for this offensive line and Jonathan Taylor. Now we focused on taking away Saquon Barkley. And we're going to probably focus to some degree on doing the same to Jonathan Taylor. But Taylor has been very, very efficient and very productive so far this season. And I think he's going to have his moments. Again, doesn't mean we're going to lose, but just don't expect another lockdown run defense like we saw against the Eagles. And my third prediction is the Rams got this kicking game, the field goal kicking thing solved. Now, remember, coming into the second half against the Eagles, we were pretty happy with our kicking game. And then things went sideways. I mean, we had the blocked extra point against the Titans. I get it. But I think we got that squared away. Maybe kind of good to have that happen early in the year. But rather than in the playoffs, so we have time to figure it out. It's kind of a bummer that happened at all in a really big game like against the Eagles, one of the top teams in the NFC. We have a chance to beat them, and we basically lose because of those breakdowns. But I think the Rams figured it out, and they will have figured it out, and that'll be something we'll be nervous about for the rest of the season. But I think we're going to be okay. It's mainly about figuring out the blocking schemes up front. I think Joshua Carter is going to be fine, although I think his trajectory was a little bit low, especially on that last kick. And my fourth prediction is red zone efficiency is going to be the deciding factor in this game. The Rams have struggled a little bit, and the Colts have not in the red zone. Rams got to figure that out, and I think they will. The red zone efficiency going into this game might spell, the data over the first 3 games might spell trouble for the Rams, but I think they're going to, Sean McVay is going to have some stuff drawn up to figure that out finally once and for all. And maybe it's just as simple as, getting Blake Corum and Kyron Williams involved in the red zone instead of trying to find Devontae Adams 3 straight times. But Rams defense on the other end is going to have to step up and force some field goals by the Colts, and I'm hoping that's the case. But red zone efficiency, that'll be the deciding factor, and my prediction is it'll be a factor in the Rams' favor. That's all I got. Rams up here in a few hours at SoFi, a 105 kickoff. Man, this is going to be a big day for the Rams. And then Thursday, snag another win, hopefully. First place LA Rams after 5 weeks of the football. That's all. We couldn't hope for anything better, except for maybe 5-0. But that's not going to happen. 4-1, not bad compared to what we saw from this team the last couple of years. Rams Colts, Rams 23, Colts 20. That's my final prediction. Out here from Rams Up.